The cold air nipped at her thin jacket as she walked briskly down the hospital corridor, her head down, steps light and quiet. No one noticed her leave. No one ever did. That was the point. Claire knew how to be invisible, how to slip between the cracks of a world that never really saw her. She had come when she got the call. The nurse hadn't explained much, just said a baby was brought in from the daycare where she used to volunteer, and Claire's name was listed as the emergency contact. She hadn't expected that. She hadn't seen little Olivia in months, not since her mom, Jenna, had gotten a job and moved away without leaving any forwarding address. But Claire came anyway. That's who she was. Someone who showed up, even when no one else did. Now, with the baby safely in the care of the hospital staff and no further questions asked, Claire slipped out quietly. She didn't belong in a place like this. Not with the polished marble floors, the clean scent of antiseptic, the buzz of organized professionals who spoke with purpose. She was halfway down the hallway when someone called out behind her. "Wait, miss. Miss Claire Walker." Claire froze. That voice, deep, calm, and far too commanding to ignore. She turned around slowly. A tall man stood at the other end of the hallway, his brow furrowed in concern. He looked out of place in the pediatric ward, in a tailored suit and expensive shoes that echoed with every step he took toward her. She recognized him instantly. Nathaniel Rhodes, CEO of Rhodes Enterprises. The same man whose face adorned countless magazines and financial news sites. The man she once shared a moment with, fleeting and forgotten. Years ago when their lives brushed for the briefest second in college. She had been a scholarship student. He had been the heir to an empire. They hadn't spoken since graduation. She never imagined he even remembered her name. "I'm sorry," Claire said, her voice soft. "Do I know you?" He looked down at her, surprise flickering in his eyes. "I think you do." Claire wanted to disappear. "I saw your name," he continued, holding out his phone, the baby's file open on the screen. "Listed as the emergency contact for Olivia Jensen. I just adopted her." Claire blinked. "You what?" "I'm her legal guardian now," he said. "Her mother was a friend of mine. She passed away last week. There was no one else. Just your name." The words hung in the air like frost. Claire's knees almost buckled. Jenna was gone. Just like that? And this man, this powerful, unreachable man, had taken the baby in? "I didn't know," Claire whispered, more to herself than to him. "I had no idea I just thought she moved on, got a better life." She did. For a while. But things went bad fast. She was sick. She didn't tell anyone. Nathaniel studied Claire, his voice suddenly gentler. "The daycare called me first. I had just finalized the paperwork yesterday. When I asked them if Olivia had anyone else, they mentioned your name. I saw you listed as the contact in her file. You were the only one." Claire swallowed the lump rising in her throat. Nathaniel took a step closer. "Why did you leave so quickly?" She shrugged. "I didn't think I was needed." "You were," he said simply. And just like that, something cracked in her chest. A tight, unseen dam holding back years of invisibility, of never being enough, began to loosen. She didn't know how it happened, but the next thing she knew, she was sitting in the small hospital cafe with Nathaniel, a paper cup of coffee cradled in her hands. He sat across from her, watching her carefully, as though trying to piece together a puzzle he never knew he was missing. "You knew Jenna?" he asked. Claire nodded. "We met at a community center downtown. I used to help out with reading programs. She brought Olivia in, and we got close. She was struggling, but she loved that baby more than anything. She told me that once," Nathaniel murmured. "She said Olivia was the best part of her." They sat in silence for a while. "Why'd she list you?" he asked finally. Claire looked down. "I guess she trusted me. I didn't have much, but I always showed up. That's something, right?" Nathaniel's gaze didn't waver. "It's everything." There was a beat. Then two. "I need help," he said quietly. "With Olivia. I know how to run a business. Not raise a child. I don't even know what she likes to eat. But you were the first one she reached for when she saw you earlier." Claire hadn't noticed. Her heart tugged. "I'm not a nanny," she said softly. "I'm not even stable." "I'm not asking for a nanny," he replied. "I'm asking for you." She looked up then, eyes wide with disbelief. "I know this is strange," he added. "But something tells me you being here right now, it's not an accident." For the first time in years, Claire felt something bloom inside her. A flicker of belonging, of matching. So she said yes. It was just supposed to be temporary. A few weeks, maybe. just until he found his footing. But time had a way of unraveling things you never planned for. Olivia grew attached fast. She'd wake up from naps calling Claire's name, reach for her before anyone else, laugh in that sweet baby way whenever Claire sang lullabies or tickled her belly. Nathaniel watched it all. The way Claire moved through the world with quiet grace, always putting others first. The way she knew Olivia's needs before the baby even cried. The way the house, once quiet and cold, was now filled with warm light, soft footsteps, gentle laughter. He found himself looking forward to dinner, just for the chance to sit across from Claire and listen to her talk. He began leaving the office earlier, turning down meetings, just to read bedtime stories together. He caught himself memorizing the exact shade of her eyes, the way her hair curled behind her ear, the sound of her laugh. And Claire, she was falling, too. Slowly, like the gentle turning of seasons. But the past has a cruel way of reminding you that happiness is never guaranteed. One rainy night, weeks into this strange new chapter of her life, Claire got a letter in the mail. It was from a shelter, the one she used to live in. Her name had come up on a background check request from a law firm. When she asked Nathaniel about it, he hesitated. I needed to know who was living in my home, he admitted. Who was near my daughter. Claire's chest tightened. You had me investigated? I needed to protect her. You understand, right? She did. But it still hurt. I would have told you anything you wanted to know, she whispered. You only had to ask. Nathaniel looked away. I'm sorry. Claire nodded slowly, stood up from the table. I think I should go. Claire. I'm not angry, she said. I'm just tired. I've spent my whole life proving I'm trustworthy. I hope maybe, for once, I wouldn't have to. She packed her bag that night. Olivia cried for hours. Nathaniel stood in the hallway, staring at the door she'd just closed, unsure why everything suddenly felt so empty again. But the story wasn't over. Not yet.